Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. This is my second attempt at trying to record this episode. I was about 5 seconds into it the first time, and then OBS crashed along with the game. So hopefully that doesn't happen or happen again, rather. But I'm going to be on edge here for the for the entirety of the episode. Last episode we got this area done, essentially. There is this open space over here. Not terribly concerned about getting it filled. It might be something that I do later on. Right now, I think it's fine, though, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. But what we're really going to be looking to do, I think, is expanding outward, for one thing. But also, I wanted to talk a little bit because, the campus expansion pack is coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow for me, tomorrow for you. And I want to make sure that, I'm able to take advantage of it. Obviously, not obviously, maybe. But I am going to purchase it, on the day of release and begin to incorporate it. And that might mean that, Springdale University over here gets changed around a little bit. I think I'll want to keep this area over here, but I might, just bulldoze everything and replace it with some of the stuff from the campus expansion pack. And I'm also thinking about picking up the Park Life expansion pack, which gives you like bigger parks. You can make national parks, all sorts of cool things. I've been thinking about that as well because that seems interesting, and I've kind of had a craving for more parks, like the ability to build more parks than what's already in the game. I haven't really had the opportunity to do that, so we'll see, though. We'll see. Tomorrow will surely be an interesting episode. That is for sure. Right now, though, I just kind of want to figure out how I want to expand. Because this is an urban area, but I want an even bigger and better urban area. Like up here, potentially throughout here. I am going to want another university up here at some point. Not right now, I don't think, but at some point or another. But I want to have like bigger roads up here. This just leads into a bigger mountain and like a more mountainous area, actually. But, we can work with it down here and all of that. I want to be able to do that. So I'm going to try and focus a little bit on how I want to expand and what directions I want to go. And so I'm thinking here that we take this road like this, right? And we head up here. And then we kind of take it over here, this direction. Damn, I can't run it through. That is incredibly unfortunate. All right. Can I be cute about this? No, because it's just going to run into the library anyway. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. We'll just destroy this building. No problem. Do something like that. Could probably hook it up like that. And that works. And then we're going to kind of build behind it as well. Or behind the library, for clarification. So I kind of want to do something like this. Almost like a trapezoid kind of shape. Something like that. And then have it go like that. That looks pretty bad. But it'll be covered up by the roads, so I'm not concerned. First of all, I need to make sure that water is running through and following along these roads. There we go. And there we go. All right, cool. And the district as well should include this area. There we go. Let's see, we're going to zone residential in here because that is what the demand is currently calling for. But, you know, that of course, we're going to listen to the demand, at least for now, in terms of where we want to put specific kinds of buildings and whatnot. It is not necessarily a, I don't know, like a set in stone thing. I'm trying to think of how I want to approach things in the future and whatnot. Let me make sure that there are traffic lights where I want there to be traffic lights. Here, here, here. There you go. So that'll take care of that. And yeah, I mean, the demand for residential, excuse me, industrial or industry, the demand for both of these things is relatively low right now. And so it's probably going to take us even longer to get through some of these spaces that we're building, but we can at the very least try and map it out. That's what I intend on doing. I think up here, we're going to keep it with the theme of how this area looks. You know, not necessarily wealthy or anything of that sort, but kind of have it like that. And then down here, we have much more room to expand and build bigger roads and all sorts of neat, cool things. So that is what we're going to do. I am going to zone a little bit of room for some offices. Nothing crazy. Because I don't want to overcompensate. Alright, we got new people moving in. That's good. We're waiting on some areas to get built, for one thing. Kind of running into that bug again where nothing is getting built, but that is okay. Because, I mean, you know, in the meantime, we can kind of figure out how we want to do things. Like, down in this area, you know, I kind of want to transition into it, of course. You know, there's a suburban area here. I kind of want to have this kind of urban area here, maybe, and then we fully transition into, like, massive roads, massive skyscrapers, all sorts of cool things. And you know what I might do, actually, is build some sort of monument up here. Well, obviously, we can't afford, or I mean, we can't build any of these things yet because we haven't built some of the things in here, but like a theater of wonders, maybe, or a big old stadium, or the cathedral of plenitude, or something to that effect. You know, we can kind of work with that and see what we want to do. But we have time to figure it out, and that's the big thing here, is that we have time. You know, there is no rush really to do anything, and I'm sure that when that campus expansion comes out and I get it installed and kind of tinker around with it, that I'm going to want to build something with that first. So all of this is kind of planning way ahead for the future, and the future changes all the time, so I am not going to, you know, worry too much about sticking to plans necessarily that I make now. You know, we're kind of just rolling with things and having a good time while we do it too. All right, so we're getting some residential buildings starting to come in. Industry and residential demand are right around the same at the moment, so I'm going to try, and it's a little bit of a give and take, it looks like, actually, but I'm going to try and dedicate some more room for offices as well. Two of the same exact office building. right next to each other. Wow. You know, in this game, I think things actually look better up close than they do when you're zoomed out. You know, and I'm not sure if that's like a crazy take or something like that, but you know, I've noticed that in this game, you know, things can kind of look bad from a distance, like the way you've designed something. But when you zoom in on it, it looks a lot better and it feels a lot more real. And I'm not sure if that's just the nature of how this game works, or if it is a quality in this game that is thought about and considered, you know, by the developers. But it's something I noticed actually just a few minutes ago. You know, like if we zoom in here, you know, and we can even get in the first person camera as well. And even though there's like this vast space over here, which would not be the case in the real world, you know, this feels normal, you know, almost. In a way. All right, so I mean, some homes filled in these respective areas. I'll let them fill in here. And then, I mean, the office demand is not very high at all. It does continue to kind of build back up, but very slowly in comparison to the residential demand that we have or have had. I will give them a little bit more room, though. Like right there, maybe, to kind of build what they want. Trying to see. I gotta remember as well that we gotta get a bus line going through this area at some point or another. Not exactly something we got to worry about right now, but something I should think, you know, keep in the back of my mind for future reference. All right. These guys are taking a long time to come in. I'm just going to zone the rest of this with residential, which I'm sure is not going to be a big deal. You know, these can be offices here. I'm sure nobody will mind. Let's see. Trying to think of how I want to design this the rest of the way. Because obviously I'm going to want to use this road to come up here. But don't really know how I'm going to tackle this exactly. You know, like, I don't know if I'm going to have any buildings up here the rest of the way. I'm not really sure. Like, if I should just have whatever monument I want to put here and then nothing else, or, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know. I'm not used to building on uneven terrain. A lot of the time when I've built my cities and whatnot, they've been on flat terrain, and that's even the case in this city as well, where I've built most of it on flat terrain. So this is a bit different for me in trying to figure it out. But I will. I'll think of something. Of course, if you guys have suggestions as well, by all means, let me know in the comment section below. That is what it's there for. And I do plan on taking more land plots, obviously, but we haven't filled in the ones that we already have. So I'm not going to worry about, you know, this area over here when I haven't filled in this area over here. So, you know, I mean, hopefully that makes sense, but all right. You know, I wish we could get through this process a little bit faster. but the demand doesn't really allow for it. We kind of have to follow and adhere to the rules of the demand and where it's at. You know, we can't really decide that we're just going to designate certain buildings to go here, certain buildings to go here, because, you know, if the demand isn't there, then they'll never build, and it won't look right. So starting to get a little commercial demand creeping up as well, which I have no problem with, because it would be a nice added touch, along with, you know, the residential and all the offices up here. And now that we have a little bit, we can designate some space for it, probably right here. And, you know, it can kind of do what it wants. I mean, how are... Yeah, so these guys don't have a whole lot of access. And I mean, some of these guys over here don't have a whole lot of access either, to healthcare. Same with the fire departments. Police as well, a little bit. So I will build some new city services up here because they are necessary. All right, let's start with the police station. Can build a pretty big one right there. That'll be fine. Fire station wise, I was hoping for something a little bit smaller. There we go. That we can squeeze in right there. And then hospital-wise, I don't know if I want to just build a big hospital, like another one. I mean, what's this? A city hospital. I mean, we are in the city. I mean, this thing is huge, though. Like, I don't even know where I would put this thing. I mean, there are a couple places it could go, but, like, this thing is just massive. Building must be placed roadside. Yeah, I'm working on it. There we go. Can build roadside right there. And that works. And it fits nicely, too, even though the terrain kind of had to make room for it in that way, but there we go. You know, some new city services for everybody, and hopefully that'll keep people happy as well. All right, let's continue expanding a little bit now that that is kind of built out. Let's go ahead and do something like that. And then I am going to kind of... No, you know what? Actually, yes. Sorry, I'm working through things in my head, you know. Takes a little bit of time for me to do that, but I want to do something like that. And then maybe have it come down here a little bit, if I can. Slope too steep, fair enough. Yeah, nobody is going to be able to build anything here, which is perfectly fine by me, not really looking to do that. Space already occupied? By what? Maybe if I give it a little bit more room. Work with. Like this. Really? Because I don't like the idea of this just being a dead end, you know? Alright. I mean, I guess we got to do something like this, right? Which is unfortunate, but must be done. I'm gonna make sure this zones properly as well. Okay. All right. Then we gotta have stoplights here too. Let me make sure I take care of that because I don't want to forget. There we go. Cool. All right, so that's taken care of. Got this little area here to work with and continue expanding with. It's a very incremental process. And that's the way it has to be, you know. Whether you're into that or not, don't really have a choice. I have to build this way, you know. Go ahead and have residential fill in there. Can have a little bit of commercial right there. And go ahead and work with that, and we'll see where the demand goes from there. I just really like watching the buildings come in, too. Which is why sometimes I kind of sit and just watch. I know it can probably be a little bit annoying, but I enjoy it. So, fuck you. You know, frankly, this is my series that you're watching. If you don't like the way I do things in this game, go watch somebody else play, okay? It's pretty plain and simple. I like to lay out the, you know, my rules. Pretty plain and simple. No, but obviously, you know, I mean, if there was a collective, like, hey, stop fucking diddling around, you know, and watching the buildings come in, you know, in the comment section or something, obviously I would listen to that, but I know that there isn't going to be something like that because, you know, I mean, I don't think there are enough people that watch this series for that to happen. But anyway, all right, so these are just about coming in. I don't think anything is going to come in here, which is a little unfortunate, but that is okay. Because I mean, part of the reason I'm waiting to see how these come in, too, is because, you know, it dictates what zones I'm going to put in further down the line, you know. If I don't know, then how am I supposed to, you know, gauge which zones should go in here, you know? Like right now, commercial demand is the highest by a little bit. Not by much, but by a little bit. And, you know, for that reason, I'm probably going to have to zone a little bit more down this way, you know? There's a science to these things, you know? You gotta get it down to a science. All right, let's see. Come on. Come on, I want these to come in. Well, I mean, are they, you know, what's the issue? Come on, the demand is there. I zoned. There you go. There you go. Alrighty. Well, we'll leave this episode here, and then we'll kind of continue tackling this area. And we'll have the campus expansion pack as well next episode, so we'll see what we decide to do with that. For now, though, if you guys enjoyed this episode of City Skylines, let me know in the comment section below. Like the video and share with your friends. Let them know you want to see more of any game series I do here on the channel. Link down to the game is in the description box below if you want to pick it up for yourself, as well as the new campus expansion pack, which will be coming out tomorrow. Subscribe to my channel for more gaming content. I play all sorts of games on my channel. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.